Hello students. Our topic today will be genetics, and the section of genetics we're talking about today is DNA and protein synthesis. Remember, synthesis means to make or to create, right? So protein synthesis means we are making protein. So that's what we're going to be seeing today along with DNA, all right? So this is a quick picture of DNA, okay? We've seen this before in class. All right, this is DNA. All of our genetic information is found in this molecule, DNA, everything. Everything about our genetics is found here. So what's genetics, right? It's the study of heredity in organisms, how we get our traits and all of that, right? So before this is DNA, right? Let's take a look at its building block. We've talked about building blocks, monomers. This right here is the monomer of DNA or the building block of DNA, okay? You put millions and millions and millions of these together and you have DNA. They have to match, and that's what we're going to be seeing today, how they match with each other and how they make DNA. Okay, so this is the shape of DNA. Remember, we've done this before. This is the building block of DNA. It's made of three things: phosphate, sugar, and a nitrogen base. The nitrogen base, as we see right here, and you might have seen in the video, there's four different kinds. Okay, not four different kinds here in this one base, but A could be the base here, or G, or C, or T. It just depends. But there's a pattern, okay? And that's what we're going to see today. Let's take a look at this box here real quick, okay? This one up here. It's saying that all of our genetics are found here in this DNA, and they're read in codes. We're going to be seeing that code later on today. But the codes basically are the bases. The bases are the most important part of this whole molecule, okay? The bases, as you can see here, right? They're labeled because they're the most important part, and they have a pattern. They're not just random. So that's what we're going to see today, okay? There's four different bases. There's A, there's G, there's C, and there's T. All right, so here is the pattern I was talking about. A, which is adenine, always will match with T, which is thymine, okay? So A stands for adenine and T stands for thymine. That's their names, okay? And G, which is guanine, will always match with C, which is cytosine, okay? Always, 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 always. A with T, G with C, okay? It's never going to be A with C or T with G, never. Always A, T, G, C. Here's one way we can remember it. There's like a little saying, right? Apple tree, chewing gum. Or in Spanish, right? Árbol tree, cat gato, or gato cat. Okay, so let's do that again. Apple tree, chewing gum, árbol tree, gato cat. This just shows you how A matches with T and G with C. So let's say this base pair itself was A, then the other one on the other side is going to be a T, right? So as we see here, let's look up here real quick. We see A, adenine, always matches with thymine. Boom, 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 boom. And they're just random, there's no specific order. But this specific order as they are, which we'll get to later, that's a code. This is going to signal for like a gene or something like that, right? Something important. This is all important, okay? As you saw in your video, this is a little bit of the history of genetics, okay? In your assignment and your quizzes, they're going to ask some questions about this. So I put the notes here for you all so you can, refer back to it when you take your quiz or your notes. It started back in the 1860s, right? When this guy here, Frederick Michener, identified DNA. Okay, in the 1940s, Erwin Chargaff created a rule for DNA bases, which is at AT and then GC. In 1952, Rosalind Franklin created a photo of DNA, of the DNA structure, and we're gonna see that. Okay, here's a little side note. Okay, her and the guy she was working with, they were the first ones to take a picture of DNA, the structure. Sadly, she died. She got cancer, ovarian cancer, for working with a lot of x-rays, which is how they took the picture. And these guys, Watson and Crick, they used that data to make a model of DNA that we know today, which is this. So they got credit for everything while she was dead, and they didn't give her any credit. Okay, that's just a little side note. It's kind of sad. All right, now let's take a look down here real quick at this section. I'm gonna read this, right? Genes are segments of DNA that are the basic unit of heredity in organisms and are transferred from parent to offspring. Okay, which is what you know. Now let's take a look at this picture here. This is very important. Remember, this picture up here, it's a nucleotide. This is the building block of DNA. You put them all together, hundreds and millions and millions and billions, and it starts to build a DNA molecule, right? As we see here, boom. As the DNA molecule, we have a lot of DNA, okay? And it has to fit in our cells, okay? If we were to unravel our DNA, it would not fit in our cell. So how do we make that happen, right? Well, the DNA found a way. It starts to coil itself very tightly, very, very, very tightly, until it makes a chromosome. Okay, how does it do that? Well, there's these little circles. I don't know if you can see them. They're proteins, and these proteins, start to tangle and tangle and tangle and tangle up all the DNA, and so it can fit into a chromosome. And then the chromosomes are found in our nucleus. Remember that? We have 46 of them. In our sperm and egg cells, we have only 23. But this is how, it fits in our cells. So a chromosome basically is just DNA. And protein, obviously, right? But a chromosome is your DNA. This is what has all your genetic information, and you have 46 of them in your nucleus in every single cell. So how many cells do we have? We have trillions and trillions of cells that have 46 chromosomes that has all of our DNA. That's a lot. Okay, so let's go to this section right here. Okay, DNA contains the instructions for every structure and function of an organism. Okay, DNA is coiled into chromosomes in the nucleus of a cell, and segments of DNA are called genes, and they are passed from parent to offspring. So we're going to get to that in the next section. Remember, these base pairs A, T, G, and C, the way they are ordered, it's not just random, right? In every chromosome, they're ordered in a different pattern. Why? Because they make a code for genes. Okay, so the specific way that these base pairs are ordered will make a code for, like, color of your hair or color of your skin, or is your hair wavy or curly or what, right? So we're going to get to that in the next section. All right, I'll see you then.